Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I have something very cool for you guys. Today I collaborated with the very first regional organizer of the Netherlands, with YugiWang. And we have a meta breakdown from our very first regional. So I have all the stats, all the data. We're going to talk about the decks, we're going to talk about the top cut, and we're going to talk about specific cards as well, because he delivered all that information. So yeah, very first, a big shout out to YugiWang. This is arguably one of the best regionals I have attended in the last 2 years. No, all jokes aside, it was an amazing run. It was very busy, but they make sure that everyone was healthy, was together with the government rules that we have nowadays, and it was very nice to still have a regional and that it could still go on even in the difficult times like this, and everything was managed really well. The store itself is always very nice to participate. They always have huge prize support, which is very cool. And the judges as well were very solid this event. So big shoutouts to YugiWang and big shoutouts to the judge team that were available at the event. It was a very smooth ride. Never really went into overtime that much. It was all managed well, it was all communicated well, and overall we all felt pretty good during the event, which is very important in times like this. So yeah, let's go quickly into some raw data that I have for you guys here. So as you can already see, there's a lot this meta. We really expected there to be a lot this meta, but there really is so much. So yeah, let's take a look. So Sword Soul, 12.3%, that's roughly 8 players played Sword Soul this event, which is significantly higher than I expected. This is the highest represented deck of the entire event, which is kind of wild if you ask me, because I really did not expect people to have that Sword Soul that early on already. So very interesting to see that Sword Soul is already being picked up so much. Then we have Phantom Knights and Eldritch for the second most represented decks, which is very cool to see people still playing Eldritch and PK. Of course, these are decks that you kind of expect to see more now, because these are cards that people have already laying around. Remind yourself that this is the first time that we have regionals again, so it's very likely that a lot of players just do not own the new cards, and they just use what they have left, and that's why a lot of older decks are very popular now. Especially because all those old decks are still very good. Then we have some Tri-Brigade Lyrilisk, 9.2%, of course, being popularized by Raphael Neven and Sir Emmanon, of course. Very solid deck, very solid, high performance, very nice endboard, high ceiling, very skill-based as well. Then we have Virtual World, 7.7%, a lot of Virtual World players. Interesting to see that they are still picking this deck over anything else they can play. Drytron with 6.2% of the players play Drytron. Interesting in my opinion, a lot of variance in those builds. We're not really going to go over specific builds in this video, because looking at 65 deck lists is a lot. And yeah, some Altergeist doing very well at the remote events, of course, at the invitationals. Yeah, we're going to see if it made the top cut in a little bit. Dogmatica Shadow Invoked. I believe that one of these decks is also a drug map. I'm not really sure what they told me. Then Salad, of course, winning the most recent Latin America YCS, is also here. Man, did it make top cut? Spoiler, yeah, it did. How? I have no clue. Apparently the best deck of the format. Everyone's sleeping on the Salads. And we have Tri-Brigade, 3.1%. Awfully low, in my opinion. Awfully low. Kind of expected it to be a little bit better than that, maybe I'm mistaken. I expected there was to be more Tri-Brigades. This is such a very favorite deck, but of course people are also playing the Lyrilisk Tri-Brigade, so maybe it coincides with that, but only 3.1% for the pure. Then we have Flow on the Reese with only 3.1 as well. I believe it's 1 or 2 players. That should be 2 players playing the pure Tri-Brigade and the pure Salmon Grade and the pure Flow on the Reese. Also low. Interesting to see there's so much more Sword Soul than Flow on the Reese. I really wonder why nobody is picking up on Flow on the Reese. I really expected this deck to be popping off, especially in like local meta, but it's not. Nobody really wants to play it apparently, or they just don't have it. And then for the others, 24.6%. A lot of different one-off decks, I believe, from what I've saw on the event. I saw Mystic Mine. I saw some. Oh man, there was so much being played this event. So much being played. Not the biggest event, of course, but due to restrictions in the Netherlands, this is really all we can have, and it was a lot of fun to play. So yeah, let's take a quick look at the this is the top 16. Yeah, so this is the conversion rate. So 2 Tri-Brigade Lyridisk players made it into the top 16. 2 Dogmatica Shuttle Invoked made it into the top 16. 1 Madolche made it into the top 16, and this is actually the first place after Swiss. He's the only player that went 6-0, so congratulations to Kun again. I have his deck profile up on my channel. It's a very cool deck list. It's a very cool deck list. Then we have Sword Soul, 1 player, Virtual World, 1 player, Drytron, 1 player, Altergeist, 1 player as well, so 1 Altergeist made it in. Numeron OTK, very interesting, made it into the top 8 actually, very impressed. Then we had Salomon Great, and while I'm looking up the final standings here, there you go. Tri-Brigade, 1 player, Flow on the Reese, 1 player in the top 16, so that's one of the 2 players topped, it's high percentage. Dinos was one of the rogue decks, Zodiacs was one of the rogue decks, and then PK only one in the top 16. That was me. Alright, so let me remind myself what the top 16 exactly was, if I can call back everything. Number 1 was Kun playing the Madolche. Number 2 was Raphael playing Tri-Brigade Shuttle, or Tri-Brigade Shuttle, what Tri-Brigade Lyridisk. Number 3 was Max Zagers playing the Virtual World deck. Yeah, and I'm gonna get his deck profile soon as well, so stay tuned for that. There we have Jack Rory. Quantal Think got 4th place, very impressive with his pure Tri-Brigade, so he's the 1 pure Tri-Brigade player in there. Then we had Fabian, who played Salomon Great. Raul, I don't really know what Raul is playing. Then we have Fabian Ruland, so he's a friend of mine that's been on the channel before. He was playing, what deck was he? He was playing Bird Up as well, so he's one of the 2 Tri-Brigade Lyridisks, so both of them got into the top 8. And then on number 8, to close off the gates, we have Lubo playing Zodiac. So that was the top 8 cut. The event was closed after this, or it ended after Swiss. But then they held a separate top cut for additional pricing, so that was very nice of YugiWang to do so, and they gave away a Starlight, they gave away very cool stuff. Definitely go check them out, link will be in the description down below. Then for number 9, Tom Potts played Drytron. Then number 10 is me with Phantom Knights. Number 11 will be Kevin with Invoke Shuttle. I also have a deck profile for my channel. Then we have Mart. I don't really know what he was playing. Then we have Berton 13 with Dinosaur. And then I don't really know what Tim and Floris are playing, but I do know that number 16 is Yurit, and he played Flow on the Reese. The only player to make it into the top 16 with Flow on the Reese, which again did really surprise me. So yeah, eventually the top 8 was played out, and that was won by Raphael with Tri-Brigade Zodiac. Or with Tri-Brigade Zodiac, jeez, I'm messing this up. With Tri-Brigade Lyridisk, which is very impressive, and he met Quantal in the finals actually with Tri-Brigade Pure, which is very impressive of Quantal to get all the way with that deck when he was doubting to see what he was playing. So yeah, congratulations to those 2 for getting 1st and 2nd. Then I have some very cool data for you guys. So here we have a breakdown of who played which card and how many people were playing it, so we can kind of take a look at what cards are very popular this meta item. Lancia was a card that was not in the main deck, but there were 7 players that were siding it for a total of 17 copies, so not everyone played 3 copies of that. So that's very interesting. The top 4 all played Lancia, which is very interesting. Then with Droll Lockbird, only 2 players mained it and 5 players sided it, so that's also very interesting. And all in the top 4 played Droll, so Lancia and Droll are expected to be in the side deck this meta, which is very interesting because the entire top 4 played those cards. Then Ash, 6 players played Ash and non-sided Ash. 6 players mained Impermanence, nobody sided Impermanence. Red Reboot, 1 in the main deck. That was the Numeron guy. Yeah, there was a Numeron guy in the top 8. And he mained it, and there were 5 players siding it. It's also a very popular card for the top 8. There you have Gamma, 4 players played it, nobody sided it. Very interesting. So then for the power, spells, and traps. 5 called by the Graves in the main deck, none in the side deck. That was called by per order, 1 in the main deck, 4 in the side deck. Interesting to see that people are picking this up to side. Then we have Pot of Desires, 4 in the main deck, none in the side. I do see that there are 10 copies of Desires, so there are 2 players that only played 2. That's very interesting. One player mained Twin Twisters with just a numeron player, I remember that, and 3 people played it in the side deck for the top 8. Triple Tactic Talents was mained by 3 players and wasn't sided at all. Prosperity was mained by 2 players, wasn't sided at all, and Designator was mained by 2 players and not sided at all. Very interesting, very interesting. So yeah, then for the board breakers, there were a lot of people that mained very powerful cards. 2 players mained Harpy's Feather Duster, 4 players sided it, so that's 6 out of the top 8 played it. 1 player played Lightning Storm in the main deck, and 4 people sided it. 2 people mained Dark Forbidden Droplets, and 1 person sided it, and 1 player mained Dark Ruler no more, and 3 people sided it. And then evenly matched is only being sided. It was played in the top 16 more, but maybe it's not kind of good, this format. Of course, people are still playing Lancia, so it might not be correct to play that card. Then for the extra deck, we also have some statistics for the extra deck. Again, huge shout out to YugiWang for providing all this. 5 players out of the top 8 played Zeus, which is very insane. There were 7 copies of Zeus. So yeah, nice one, Lubo, for playing pure Zeus. You lifted up the amount. Almirage was in the extra deck 3 times. Of course, for the Tri-Brigade players and the Luridisk players, that makes a lot of sense. Appaloosa was there 3 times. Dweller in there 2 times. Utopic Future Dragon 2 times. Makes sense, there were only 2 Tri-Brigade Luridisk players. There were 2 Dragoons, 2 Access Code Talkers, and then very interesting, there is only 1 Phoenix Enforcer in the extra deck of the top 8, which I found very surprisingly, but of course it kind of makes sense since the decks that it is most popular in is the Phantom Knights right now, and that wasn't in the top 8, so makes a lot of sense why it's not there at all. Looking at the top 8 deck profiles, it's really difficult for that card to be fit in any of those decks, so makes a lot of sense, So yeah, all in all, what did we learn from this? Well, the meta is pretty diverse and both definitely made an impact, but what I think made more of an impact here is Synchro Storm. Synchro Storm was very impactful for the Tri-Brigade Lurlisk, taking down the win at the end. Of course, first player after Swiss was Koen, playing Madolche, playing a lot of cards from Dark, from Bode, exactly. So that's very cool to see that Bode is indeed doing well, but it is very cool to see that Raphael is back on top with the birds. Can you imagine Raphael not winning an event with Beast Wing Beast Warriors for once in his life? Yeah, very interesting. Cool to see that Stolt or Madolche took it down. Definitely go check out that deck profile. And again, congratulations to Koen and congratulations to Raphael for taking both the win in the top 8 and in Swiss. So yeah, very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. I really like this meta. There's a lot viable right now, but it's all roughly the same. So it's not like too obnoxious, what I feel like. It is difficult to kind of call out what you will be playing against, and I can definitely see Koen having success with Madolche because people are just not expecting the deck. And maybe siding against it is kind of difficult, and maybe like the main decks aren't as prepared as you would like it to be. So it definitely makes a lot of sense why such a rogue deck pulls through at the end. So yeah, again, huge congratulations to Koen for winning, and Raphael. Huge shoutouts to YugiWang. Go check him out, links in the description down below. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. But before we go, if you want to see the deck profile of the best deck of the format, even though I didn't win the event, it doesn't matter. If you want to see the best deck, Phantom Knights, stay tuned, go subscribe. Tomorrow the deck profile will be here. I will be playing and recording the deck profile tonight live on my Twitch from 8 PM CEST, so come hang out tonight and get a little bit sneak peek going, and otherwise you'll see the deck profile on this channel tomorrow. More deck profiles are coming, like the virtual world deck profile, and yeah, stay tuned. Bye guys.